Okay, so we're recording, so just act normal. Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the Train the Trainer certification, which is for me today and for you. Okay, and we're going to be recording. And today we're going to watch Teepa demonstrate normal aging and not normal aging. And we'll be pausing the video in between to talk about what you just saw and how you feel, and then we'll walk through some of the role plays. Okay? Okay, first we're going to watch the normal aging. We'll watch Teepa demonstrate normal aging, and then we'll pause the video.
What we're going to talk about now is the difference between normal aging and not normal aging. Now understand I did not say dementia, I just said normal aging, not normal aging, because one of our big misconceptions in this country is that if it's not normal aging, it's going to be dementia. And that's not true. So we've got to get that one off the table. So what I'm going to do very quickly is give you two quick little role plays that are going to take you through normal versus not normal. So I'll do normal first. I'm in the living room. And I've been watching a TV program, and the program finishes, and I decide, you know what, I'm thirsty. I think I'm going to go make a pot of coffee. And I head toward the kitchen to make coffee. But before I get all the way to the kitchen, the telephone rings. And so I answer the telephone. Hello? Oh, hey, sweetheart. How you been? Well, yes, of course I know who it is. It's, right on the tip of my tongue. It starts with B. Betty, of course it's Betty. Sorry. Recognized your voice right away, just couldn't think your name. Yeah, seen you moment. Huh? What? Oh, no, I'd love to get together. Oh, today? Okay, what? At 2? This afternoon? All right. Oh, at the mall. Okay, well, which end? Macy's. Oh, that's where J.C. Penney's was, right? They moved out and then I know what you're talking about. Absolutely. The menswear, is that the same? Yep, I know where to be. 2 o'clock, I'll be there. Wait right inside the door. I'll be waiting right inside the door. It's supposed to be a little chilly this afternoon. Yeah. What? Oh, they opened a new chocolate store. Well, you know me. You know what I'm gonna get. I'll get caramels. I always get caramels. You're gonna get. I know you like the white flaky stuff in the chocolate. Yes, coconut, of course. That's you. Huh? Oh, no, I'll be happy to call and see if Margaret wants to come. That'd be great. Yeah. All the vacation pictures? Oh, yeah, I'll bring them. Wait till you see yourself in that bathing suit. Oh, I was just kidding. Just teasing you. You know how I am. Such a teaser. With that, I'm not going to say everything. Okay.
That's happened to me a lot.
Okay, so here we
We're
go.
going to talk
Stand
about
up.
that here.
Human beings have clock.
Okay. All right, so the first question is, has something like this ever happened to you before? It has?
Oh, yeah.
Over coffee or over something else?
No, I just forgot what I went to get.
All right. Have you ever noticed others in your life doing those types of things? Having to retrace their steps, having to talk themselves through something? Yeah. Somebody in my family is starting to go through that, but it's still pretty normal. It's still pretty normal. So as we get older, we can still retrieve that information, and we're just a little slower to get there. Okay, so I want you to think to yourself for a few moments. Did you notice how your thinking and breathing changed while you were watching Teepa demonstrate normal aging? Did you notice that? Maybe you were concerned about it, and maybe your breathing changed a little bit, or maybe thinking about somebody going through that? You did?
Yeah, I do it a lot now.
You get concerned that
Like,
maybe...
my grandmother does it a lot. Like she'll do something and then she won't remember her. She'll be like, oh, I don't know where it's at, and it's like right there or something, you know. She'll place it there, and I'll tell her what's at. She's like, no, it's not there. And she'll go look everywhere else, and then she goes back to where she first started, and
And
it's
she
there.
finds it, just, she has to retrace her steps, but
Right.
she finds it.
Right.
So that's normal. When somebody starts not finding things and they cannot retrieve it, that's what's not normal, and that's what we'll watch at the end. Okay. All right. So I have a brief story to tell you. When I went to this training, I was learning all the information, and I was a little bit nervous, and we had to do the role play, and I knew how to do this. I do it every day with my residents, but my cortisol levels just went way up all of a sudden. When you're nervous, scared perhaps, that cortisol just goes right up. And perhaps when you're out on the floor with your residents, there's moments when you're like, oh my God, you know, what do I do? Or maybe that resident is kind of getting out of control a little bit. Okay, maybe they're yelling and they're screaming, and you're not quite sure how to calm them down, and you yourself you're starting to become a little anxious, and your cortisol level goes up. So what you can do, if possible, is if you need to step away or just standing there with your resident, you're going to take a few deep breaths. So what I want you to do right now is to practice those deep breaths. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. This is for me too. And we're going to breathe in. And then exhale. Breathe in again. And then exhale. One more time. Breathe in. And exhale. Don't you feel just a little bit calmer?
Maybe want to take a nap.
Yeah, take a nap. See? Whatever cortisol you had left, just one way down. That helps for me because my cortisol level is up a little bit, right? Because I'm training, I'm doing my first workshop. So deep breathing helps decrease your levels of cortisol. It helps you become less stressed, and your brain will work better. Your brain does not work well when your cortisol level goes up. And when I was at the workshop, my brain just froze. I had so much anxiety and cortisol just at that moment, just that one moment. I was fine the rest of the time. And then when I took a few deep breaths, the cortisol level went down and I was able to concentrate. So it's just an important point to remember when you're having those moments out there on the floor. Okay, so next we're going to watch Tifa. Okay, and I want you to do what Tifa does in the video. Okay, she's going to reinforce the 5 ways that we take data into the brain, and she does a lot of hand movements to help you remember what she's teaching. So I want you to just follow along with her. Okay.
Is to take things from, do this, out there and get them in their brain. 5 ways to take data from the world around you and put it in here so you can use it. You can process it, you can understand it, you can appreciate it. So the number 1 way, notice how it's separated from all the others. It's special. Do this, be an artist. Visual data.
Put
Visual
your
data
hands
is the
up
most
when you
powerful
do
intelligent
visual.
data. It is what human beings prefer, and it is what they want first in any way of collecting data. They want to see something first. It allows them to see it, and then they
Put
can
your
start
hand
to
down.
think about what they want.
Cindy,
But
we
what
should
you
do.
see is the most powerful sensory input that you're going to get in your brain. But here's the interesting thing about vision. Show me what you see with. Point to what you see with. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Put your hand back here. This is where you process in your brain what you see. So brain activity in the occipital area, the back of your brain, is where you process visual input. There's a little bit of distance there, isn't there?
Gee, we're a computer.
What connects the input system to the processing system is wiring. And in dementia, all wiring goes on the fritz and then dies. Just so you know. So there's a lot of wiring here. It's complicated wiring. It's actually fairly complicated because how many eyes do you have? 2. So you've got to take in data from 2 eyes, integrate those 2.
Okay, so both of you will need to stand up and you decide who's going to be the caregiver and who's going to be
Cindy's
the
gonna be the caregiver.
resident.
Oh,
Okay.
you're in for one.
Okay. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can stay over there, so you're
I
gonna
don't
stay over here with me.
Do you?
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to be the caregiver and you're gonna be the resident. So whoever is the resident, I want you to put your hands behind your back and close your eyes, okay? And then Cindy, you're gonna do what I'm doing, okay? Okay. Okay, all right, you can stop, you can stop. Okay. All right, let me get my questions here. Okay, so before you sit down, for the person who has dementia, our resident, how did you feel during that activity? What
It
are
was okay when you touched my hair, but once you got, it was
Uh-huh.
a little like, no.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. A little bit startled.
Yeah.
Just kind of felt like maybe somebody was in your space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. And just imagine how you would feel if you were able to express that, right? And you're just
Right.
moving all around. So it's really important before you approach somebody that you get the visual regard. Okay, you don't just start touching somebody, right? Okay. All right.
At least an introduction.
Yes, yes, I know. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to go ahead and sit back down, all right? And we have a very small group, and this afternoon we'll just talk about this a little bit. I want you to turn to your partner, or you guys can turn to each other. You can just talk amongst each other. The question I'm gonna ask you is, what did you find yourself wanting to do? So you talk amongst yourselves. What did you find yourself wanting to do? The person, the resident, the person who has dementia, the person living with dementia. What did you
Oh,
find
I
yourself
asked
wanting
her.
to do? You, both of you can talk about it, and you tell Cindy. This small group.
Just wanna push the
Yeah,
hands away.
push away.
Mhm.
Didn't
What
feel like
about-
I had control over the situation.
Okay. And the next question is, why do you think it felt that way? So why do you think you felt those emotions and those feelings? So you can talk about that.
Because I was caught off guard.
Caught off
We didn't
guard.
know the intent of
Right.
what's the,
You didn't explain it to me what you were going to do.
Yes, very important to remember when you're giving care. Thank you. Okay. All right, so this is for the group. What do you think you would say or feel if you had dementia? So if somebody was touching you, just like we did that role play, what do you think you would say?
What are you doing?
You know, what are you doing? Perhaps what would you do, or what are some of your experiences with people who have dementia? Maybe you startled them or touched them.
They usually, they really just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. I'm sure we've all seen people strike out.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Or go like
Kick,
this.
hit us,
Yeah, yeah,
throw something.
Yeah.
yeah.
push their hand away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they may
yeah.
just push your hand away. Everybody's different.
No.
Okay. All right. So thank you for that. It makes a big impact when you reenact some of those moments that we share with our residents, so you can kind of understand how they feel. Okay. All right. So next we're gonna watch Tipa again.
How many of you found at some point who were being touched, your eyes flew open? How many of you realized you had a really hard time not going, "Ooh, wait a minute, hang on there"? Now, what I want you to do right now is touch yourself where we just touched you. Go ahead and touch yourself where we made the touches.
All right. Okay, so how did you do what Tipa was doing? You touched yourself in the same place that you were making the touches, and I were a small group here. So how did it feel different when you touched yourself in those same places?
I know it was me touching me.
You know it was you. What else? What else would be the key?
I was calmer. I react the way I acted.
Well, I expected it.
You expected it, that's right, you knew it was coming, you knew it was coming, very important. So that's why we want to get that visual regard, and we want to work our way up to the touching, very important, because it feels a lot different. Okay. Excuse me for this pause. Okay. All right, we're gonna watch Tipa now. She's gonna demonstrate the hand under hand, and that will be our next role play. So this will be very helpful for you in care, or perhaps when you're walking through the halls and you just wanna walk with somebody, this is a very nice way to do that. Okay, so make sure you pay close attention to what Tipa's gonna show you, and we'll walk through it also.
How many of you feel that that feels different than when we touched it? Yeah, because if you are doing it yourself, you're actually sending and receiving, and it's a closed circuit.
Word again. Okay, so if both of you can stand up, and Jill, you can come over here, and you can be over here. And if you wanna, this is the resident, Jill will be the resident, you can be the resident, and then you stand kind of where I am, that way you can do the same thing. Okay, yeah, that way you can kind of see, you can come stand over here, that way she can see. Okay, we'll come stand, just face her, so that way we're doing the same thing, you stand in front of her, and that way you can kind of see what I'm doing. So you're gonna put your hand out like you're gonna shake, okay? And you're gonna grab that person's hand, you're gonna open the hand, and then you're gonna be like a butterfly, all right? And then you're gonna come back down. So you're gonna kind of swing, push that chair over here a little bit, and then come over to her side, and your hand kind of pivots. Come over and you show me. So you're gonna go like this, and then open your hand like a butterfly, and then your hand's gonna kind of pivot. Your hand's gonna stay the same. There you go. There you go. And it's hand under hand. So your hand, because you're the caregiver. She's the resident, the person with dementia. So you're supporting her here. And so okay, stay like that. Okay, and Jill. Okay. So go ahead, can you turn your head a little bit? It's a little awkward in here. So you switch your hand, and then you put your left hand over her hand. Okay? And that's how you would want to hold them and support them. And then when you're going to provide care, so open up your hand, caregiver, and your pinky and this finger right here, you're gonna hold her hand, the last two fingers, and then these three fingers are able to manipulators. And then you're gonna come up and perhaps you need to straighten her hair, and she's doing the motion, so she knows
So I
what's
need to go
coming.
this way, right? I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
because I have to go up.
Yeah, and you're just
Okay.
straightening your hair, so just do what I do, right? And then maybe she has something on her shirt. Maybe she has something on her shirt, and you can point like this and let her know that you're gonna touch her shirt, and then you can kind of wipe off whatever's on her shirt. There we go. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you do.
There you go.
You have deodorant stain.
There we go. And then maybe there's something on her thigh, maybe, so you're gonna point right there and get her to see that, and then you're gonna have her.
She's in very control of her now.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
makes sense.
Yeah. You can go ahead and sit down.
Okay, I'll ask a question there.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
As long as they're passive.
All right. Okay, so next we're going to watch Tipa demonstrate this technique just a little bit more. Okay, so you get a little bit more detail, and you're gonna watch and see how it's effective. Okay.
this. Get them to, oh, now this is an interesting phenomenon. The oldest sensory motor track in the human brain is eye-hand. It is the one that develops first.